Hello everybody, welcome to a World of Warships Blitz video. Today's video is actually not a World of Warships Blitz video. It is a combination video of World of Warships Blitz and Raid Shadow Legends. So I'm going to do a few of these. This may have a niche audience, so wish me luck. Please wish me luck. Okay, so today we're going to go through the main differences between these games, which I'll try and summarize in the highest possible level, and whether or not they are free to play or pay to win. So for the 30-second guide for World of Warships Blitz is that it is a strategy game. You need map awareness. Because the ships have constraints around their turning and their turret traverse, they are not snap judgment ships. You do need some tactile skill. So you need to be able to aim properly. You need to, but a lot more of it is around your awareness, your judgment, launching torpedoes, particularly around judgment. You have to play every moment of the game, so once the 7-minute battle starts, you are committed, and the ship will only do what you tell it to do, so you are in control, so it is 100% up to you. And yeah, essentially the ships all have a purpose in the game. So premium ships maybe not so much. They're options that people can use to enrich the game. But all these ships, if you may not like the Deny may be viewed as, and many do view it as, an absolutely terrible ship. It's not a great ship, but I think it's quite fun. But you have to play it to get to Leander or the Fiji, and the Fiji is considered by most an excellent ship, right? So you have to go through all these different lines in order to get to the ships that you want. So is it free to play or pay to play? So I'll have a different video where I will talk about where to spend your money should you decide to be pay to win, or pay to play, because I don't think it's really pay to win. I don't think it makes much difference, because this is definitely a free to play game, right? So let us go for what is conceivably the best ship in the game, which is let me just go find it. So my belief that this is the most overpowered and best ship in the game is the Roma. If you're a starting player, you have played this game for a day or 2 days, and you go and buy the Roma, you will not think this is the best ship in the game. You will spend your game being trashed. You have to work your way up through a certain proportion of these lines in order to be able to make use of these ships. Another popular ship is the Tirpitz. The Bismarck is here. If you haven't already got to the Bismarck and you go out and get the Tirpitz, you're in for a world of hurt, right? So the free-to-play strategy is the right strategy to do well in this game. And so when people say it's play to win because they're up against a Roma, if you're up against a Roma, someone's played the game enough to love the game to go and get the Roma. They were already good before they got that Roma. If they were in a Monarch or they were in a Bismarck, chances are you probably would be in a similar level of world of hurt. So if you're playing a game and you sit there and think, oh, I just got trashed by blah, 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 you probably got trashed by a good player. So a good example would be that at one point in time, not now, but I'm ashamed to say it, but let's just go there, right? Let's just filter. Here we go. My only tier 2 ship. This ship is tier 2. Sometimes I used to go down to tier 2. This ship would trash everybody, mainly because I know how to play it. It's around the secondaries. This ship is a terrible ship. This ship is awful. Its guns are, its accuracy is so bad. It's like those turrets are on 2 different ships in a storm, shooting at different targets. The shells go all over the place. But I know how to play the ship. I know how to play the game. And this thing prints battle medals at tier 1 and tier 2. So if there was something that says you need to win 30 battle medals, then guess what? I'd roll out the Mikasa and I'd pull in maybe 3 or 4 battle medals in a game. But that's because I'm good. If you go out and buy the Mikasa, we'll get rid of that, and you don't know how to play the game, then the Mikasa's probably okay, because at tier 1 and 2 you're not up against great tough components. But if you go out and get yourself the Vanguard, for example, tier 8, it's a great ship with great strengths. It has a number of weaknesses. You'll probably spend a little bit more time being hurt than you would in the Roma, because people have a natural fear of the Roma. But if you go out in the ship, or even the Roma, people will soon learn that that you haven't got the skills. You won't have the skills to deal with torpedoes. You won't know how to think ahead. These turrets turn very slowly. You won't have that tactical awareness, so you have to play free to play. That is my recommendation. So this is a free to play game with pay top-up components. Right, let me go and find the other game. Right, so here we are. We are in in Raid Shadow Legends. So basically the way that this game works is that you build up teams. Let's just go run a battle somewhere at random. I think I'm busy. Yeah, so basically what you do is you pick a team of these little champions and you go and play up against a team of other champions. And it is a turn-based game, so I can take control. Let me just take control. So I can basically say, let's blow these people up. Probably, yeah. And then, or we can let the champions go ahead and do it. And there's 3 rounds of time they play. Now, for this game, you are dependent upon the strength of your champions. Now, I'll show you the system for drawing champions. I may not, of course, have enough space to actually draw one, but I can show you how. Anyway, we'll let this battle play out. So as you can see here, what we have is this battle was already won before I entered it, because that champion who's on the left, that big guy with the wings, he's going to carry the whole team. So the rest of the team may not make it through. I don't care. This is an experience run. So all I'm doing is training up these little guys. It's a very genocidal game. So basically you will murder a lot of little sprites in this game. So if, so just be aware that it does have this, it's basically a game that's built around killing things. So if we go into the main screen here, back to the main screen, we have all these shards. You get oodles and oodles of green shards as you play for any length of time, which is why one of the reasons I'm going to talk about free to play. And then basically what you do is you get told by the game that you don't have enough space. But anyway, essentially, let me just go and find some space by getting rid of a champion. So here we are. You'll see the Aztec sun god method of team development. So basically the way that it works is you pick a champion, you find another champion, this guy here, and you sacrifice him. So basically you go to the tavern, which would probably be more accurately depicted as a stepped temple, a stepped pyramid, but they call it the tavern for all those tier 1, those 1-star champions that, hey, let's go for a drink at the tavern. You would have thought the line of pet food trucks out the back would have been a disincentive, but anyway, no 1-star champions go into the tavern and come out alive. So if you're wondering about any sort of nod to reality for this game, this game is purely mechanics and visuals. So, but anyway, we have enough space here for a champion. You get a champion. You get them at random. So for the World of Warships Blitz players out there, this is like pulling a shard, and you can basically say, maybe I'll get the Leander, maybe I'll get the Edinburgh, or maybe I will get the Tashkent. Right, so it's very random, but I'm going to say that this is free to play. Now, I made a mistake, and I am busy essentially virtually restarting my account because I've made so many mistakes that I'm essentially almost having to start again. I initially viewed the higher tier champions, so you have all these champions. Let's go find them. You have common champions, tier 1s, essentially what we call tier 2s, which is these uncommon champions here, which you can see in the middle of the screen. In the middle of the screen now, you have the rare champions. You can see the word rare, top middle there, and I thought the higher the champion, the better off they are. No, it's not the case. Generally, there's an increase in strength as you work your way up through, but it doesn't mean that all the top champions are good champions. Let me go find an example with orcs. I have this guy who's a legendary, essentially a tier 5 champion, ordinary champion. This guy at tier 4, excellent champion. Great to start out with, not so great now. Tier 3, and then basically let's start at the beginning. And because there's so many champions, a lot of reviews you see on YouTube will look like this. They would go trash, trash, good, trash, trash, dependent on the situation, trash, whatever, trash, and it's one I've developed, trash, and trash. Okay, it's not looking good. Specialized, reasonable. So they'll just run through and do stuff like that. So, so the selection of champions is around making up a good team. So you spend a lot of time in this space here, which is defining your champion's gear, upgrading it, all the rest of it, stuff like that. So you spend a lot of time developing, deciding what makes your champions tick, choosing the types of gear. So there's a lot of complexity in the game, a lot more complexity in the planning and setting up than in World of Warships Blitz. But is it best free to play or pay to play? Because all those champions, my recommendation is do not spend a lot of time. If you're going to spend money, I'll talk in a different video about where to spend your money in the game. But the champions to focus on, I would recommend, and let me go through them individually. Starting at the top, Bannerlords, the champions that I would focus on if you are starting out, whether or not you decide to be pay to play or free to play, is this one, which is farmable from stage 1. You'll have to spend a lot of time in stage 1 to get her, but she's worth it because she has all these support skills, and these support skills, believe it or not, are actually worth it, because one of the mistakes that I made was I just wanted to make champions to kill things and didn't realize that support skills were actually important. So a number of these other champions, this one here is freely available from stage 1 as well, but I wouldn't recommend them. So basically this one here is one I'd focus on if you get her, and I'd play enough of stage 1 until you do get her. Nothing else there. Oh, actually, hold on. An early champion I found that carried me a long way is this one. Probably not a late game champion, but definitely not a late game champion, but did a lot of work early in the game, so maybe something to consider. Good multiple attack. One to think about, but maybe a little bit further down the track, as this one has good turn meter control. So I've seen that in some cases this might be useful, and if you're struggling, or if you're going to develop some of these early champions, develop the free ones. It's uncommon, and the great thing about these uncommon champions, or these, is that you get oodles of them. So you have to sacrifice champions or use books. Don't use books, but you can sacrifice champions to improve her skills. Bring that 3 turn down to a 2 turn cooldown, decreasing the turn meter by 50%. It's a pretty good skill. Obviously, I'm not going to talk about the starting champions because you will always develop starting champions. One of the starting champions is this fella here, or this fellas, to quote Billy T. James. Another champions to focus on in the starting game, definitely focus on in the starting game. So this is one of the starting champions. If you use her, develop her, but more importantly is this guy here. Absolutely fantastic. This max enemy HP attack and enemies killed by the skill cannot be revived is absolutely wonderful in the Ice Golem dungeon, which is a dungeon where you collect a whole lot of good stuff. Right, you will end up in the Ice Golem dungeon even if you don't think that you are going to start with. Barbarians has a number of really good champions. So you get some for free after 60 days or something of logging in. You get High Katoon, who I have put no effort into developing, which is to my shame. There are 3 champions to consider here. So the first of them is this, which is farmable through stage 9, 8. So she's an award. She's actually an end game champion, apparently. Not that I'm anywhere near end game, but I'm busy developing this champion up. Has an absolutely great decreased defense, which means the rest of your champions do much more damage. So definitely a champion worth developing, and because you can farm her, you don't have to use books to develop her. Another champion well worth developing is this guy here. On 2 turn cooldown, because you can get that cooldown. So you see level 7, level 6, -1 cooldown. You can get attacks all enemies. If you get his critical rate right up, so his critical rate currently bottom right is 15%, but if you get that right up, he can refill his turn meter and he basically gets another go. Absolutely. I'm building him up. I've seen some good reviews. I'll let you know how that gets on. Another one to consider is this one here, which comes with a heal, which is always very handy, and comes with an area attack, attacks all enemies. I've developed this one up to level 50, which is probably well past your use by date, but anyway, I was trying to get through the spider. But this one is worth putting, if you put the stun gear on this one, really, could do some work for you. Free champion, you'll be rolling in them. I'm not finished yet. I don't think there's anything in Orcs. I mean, there's a starting champion in Orcs, which is this guy. Where is it? This guy here's a starting champion, so if you have him, develop him up. There are some free ones. I did develop this, but yeah, the questionable results. So, right. In Demon Spawn, you have this one is farmable, good champion, good for speed control, turn meter control, so worth looking at. And I think there's one more. Now I need to try and remember where that one more is. No, I think I've done the shield guard, which is a barbarian. I think we might. Yeah, no, here we go. Here we go. Sorry, all over the place here. One other one to consider that I haven't developed personally, which is probably worth it, which I've seen some good reviews on, is this guy here. You do get some stun sets, I think, through various login rewards. If you put him in a stun set, every time he attacks an enemy, there's an 18% chance of stunning. He attacks all enemies, which is great. And for a secondary attack, he attacks all enemies twice, which you can bring down to 3 turns. So every turn, you've got an 18% chance to stun every enemy. Every third turn, you have twice an 18% chance to stun every enemy. So he is one that I haven't developed because I don't really like the look of them, but it's something. If you are a free-to-play player, or if you're starting out, these are the champions I would probably look to spend a bit of time on, because yeah, you can't go wrong with them. You get lots of them, and you can basically use duplicates of them to book up, and that way you can get some fairly powerful teams out of some pretty basic stuff. So what I'm doing at the moment is I'm filling in my order, because I've pulled a ton of champions because yeah, I was stupid, basically. So my recommendation is that you play it as a free-to-play game. Is this a free-to-play game? If you play it as a play-to-win game, or consider it as a play-to-win game, you will actually enjoy it less, is my experience. So definitely free-to-play. I'll go and change my Google review of this game to pop it up a few stars, because I got really grumpy one day when I just couldn't get through some of the challenges, and I thought, this is not fair. But yeah, no. Probably you need a waiting period before you put reviews on things. But anyway, I hope you found that useful. That is World of Warships Blitz versus Raid Shadow Legends. The free-to-play versus pay-to-play. Thanks for watching.